Hello, everyone. My guest today is Mikael Thuneberg. He's the Supermetrics founder and CEO. Mikael, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes.
So you come back on last year in 2019, and I'm just falling in love. I'm going, oh, he starts in 2010. He bootstraps. He has a great mousetrap with Google Sheets. He's past 12 million in revenue. This is great. And then I get news this year, he'll raise us 40 million bucks. What changed? Where was the breaking point where I said, you know what? I should go down the VC route for this thing. Let's go raise capital.
Well, our numbers have been pretty awesome lately, as you know, and there was a lot of inbound interest from VCs, top names from all over the world. So I just figured it's probably a good time to raise some money. So that was the kind of reason why I started thinking about that. And to be honest, part of that was secondary, so I also sold some shares. So it's a
What percent? Like, was it like a 50-50 sort of thing? What percent of the 40 million was secondary? Would you say?
We can't reveal that. We agreed not to. But
who led the round?
That was Highland Europe.
Okay, and for founders that don't understand what secondary means, can you explain what that means for them?
So that is when I sell my shares. So the money doesn't go to the company, but it goes to me. So it was me and some early employees selling a small part of their stakes. Of course, we still have a major stake in the company.
The reason I wanted you to explain that is a lot of people don't realize this is an option to create a sort of exit without actually selling the whole company. It's a great way to take chips off the table. You've been doing this since 2010, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and let's go through some of the back history here. For people that missed your last interview with me, what did the product start out as back in 2010?
It was a simple Excel add-on to fetch Google Analytics data into Excel to automate that data fetching, which many people were doing manually back then. So with my script, you could get that data automatically into Excel.
And then when did you start playing in the Google App Exchange with Google Spreadsheets?
I did that in 2014. I had a pretty okay business with the Excel product back then, and then Google reached out to me because I had some relationship with them already, because Google Analytics was a data source for me. So some people from Google reached out and they said that they are planning to launch this Google Sheets add-on gallery, and asked if I would want to be one of the first add-ons to be featured in that gallery. And guess what? Actually, I said no to them. I said, no, I'm not too interested in that. So like, people don't pay for Google Sheets. I don't think you can make money there. And then I just didn't think that it's a good opportunity. But then I was fortunate, because then a few weeks later, they came back to me and said, are you seriously not interested? And then I said, oh, okay, I can do something. And then I created this Google Sheets add-on, and then they released that gallery in 2014. And then I was there among just a couple of dozen different Google Sheets add-ons, and the other add-ons were not really competitive to mine. So mine was pretty much it was the only one that can get the cross-platform marketing data into Google Sheets.
Can you quantify how important it was for you to be one of those featured apps when they launched that, in terms of maybe new users that year, or what sort of spike did you see, if any?
I don't have the numbers right now, but it was really, really important, of course, getting that first mover advantage in that marketplace, which has since grown to be quite a big one. So now there are hundreds of different add-ons for Google Sheets, and for any new entrant, it's very difficult to get to the top anymore and gain traction there. But back then, when I started, there were maybe 20, so it was very different. And like I said, the other add-ons were not even competitive with mine, so I was pretty much having that market for myself only for a very long time.
When you look at historically what's driven the most growth for you, would it be a fair statement to say that was your top growth driver over the past decade?
I think that was like the turning point for the company, where I went from this one-man, slowly growing Excel business into a growth rocket. But then there was another turning point, but that's maybe even been more crucial, which is when Google released the Google Data Studio connector gallery. So you can bring your marketing data from non-Google sources like Facebook ads, Twitter ads, and so on into Google Data Studio. And there we were also the first company that they asked to develop these connectors. And we got a really good first mover advantage also in that market.
What year was that?
2017.
2017. Okay. And can you quantify this? When did you said this was a one-man show for a while. What year did you hire your first employee?
2015.
Oh, wow. So between 2010 and 2015, it was all you.
Yeah.
And before you made that first hire, give me a sense of scale in 2015. What was revenue then?
I think it was around 300K.
Okay. So great life, obviously. You seem like a guy that you know how to be scrappy. You can live a good life off 300K. What made you decide to make that first hire?
Well, the Google Sheets add-on had taken off really well, and I got a lot of new customers, and I was struggling to handle all of that. Like I was trying to develop the product, but I also handled all of the customer service. Then all the marketing, sales that I needed to do. I didn't really spend too much time on the either of those, but still I was having my hands quite busy. So I figured maybe it's good time to start hiring. And of course, the revenue had grown to the point where I could do that quite safely. Of course, here in Finland, when you hire a person, you're kind of tied to that person. It's not very easy to get rid of a person. So I also wanted to be sure that I had enough buffer there. Even if things don't go that well, I can keep paying that person's salary.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Now, did you go from 300 grand in 2015? Did you break $1 million in 2016?
Or
do you remember what year you broke $1 million?
I can check. Let me see.
He's got his dashboard. He's cranking up the dashboards, folks. We can hear the server fans running.
So the total turnover was 1.6 million in 2016, and I think 2015 it was like maybe 600K.
Since you have the chart open, what was it before 2015 and 2014?
Well, this one only shows the last 4 years.
Okay, what was 2017 then?
The official figure is 2.2 million, but there we did some adjustment in bookkeeping methodology. So it was really more like 3 million.
And what do you think you'll finish here with in 2020?
Well, in ARR, we are now at 27 million euros. And in turnover, I think we'll get to 24 million maybe.
What do you mean by that? 27 versus 34?
So the run rate is 27. So if you multiply September MRR by 12, then we are at 27 million run rate. But of course, if you look at the whole year's total revenue, that's like maybe 24 million.
And that's because you were smaller in the earlier years if you're just adding up cash collected. Yeah. Okay, so run rate wise, again, nice growth here. Where are you getting all this growth from? Is it still mainly the app exchanges?
Yeah, those are major factors for sure. The Google Sheets add-on, the Google Data Studio connectors, they are still going really strong. But of course, we are diversifying as well, or building on top of that good foundation. So we are putting a lot of effort into our enterprise products, and that means data warehousing. So you can set up a marketing data warehouse with our system. It's very easy to get all of your marketing data into a data warehouse like Snowflake or Google BigQuery, and then you can run all of your reporting on top of that data warehouse.
And so, Mikael, how many customers are paying you today?
We have in total around 15,000 customers, but then half of these are marketing agencies. And if you look at the end clients behind these agencies, then we are approaching 1 million companies using our tools.
Yep. And can you, just so we can understand growth, if you think you'll break this year with about 27 million in terms of euros, in terms of run rate, where were you at in terms of run rate exactly a year ago?
I'll have to check that number for you.
Sure. Yeah, take your time.
So at the end of last year, we were at 17.9 million.
Okay, so about 21 million United States dollars. So you basically, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, you went from essentially a $2.5 million run rate in 2017 to 10xing that to about a $27 million run rate in 2019. Is that accurate?
Can you repeat that? Sorry, I was looking at numbers.
Sure. Yeah, you went from about 3 million in terms of run rate in 2017, right? Or call it 2.5 million run rate in 2017 to 10xing that in 2019 when you broke about 25 million United States dollars in terms of run rate. Is that accurate?
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, can you try and decode that for us? It can't all just be sort of accidental, an app store placement in the Google Data Studio App Exchange. This was intentional. You're an engineer. You plan this sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm actually not an engineer, but
you're not an engineer.
No, I'm not. No.
Who coded the first version?
Me. I'm a self-taught.
Well, come on, those are the best kinds of engineers, Mikael. You self-taught.
No, I studied social sciences. I have no clue what I was doing when I started coding that first product. I guess I could almost call myself an engineer. I think I've learned something along this 10-year journey.
I would agree.
Yeah, but so what drove our growth? I think a lot of things. So obviously we've been very successful with our marketing efforts. I think we're very well known. We do a lot of content that is producing a lot of inbound leads for us all the time. We have a very successful affiliate program.
Tell me about the affiliate program. How does it work? What commission do you pay out?
The details, I'm not the best person to go into all of those. I think it's 20% for most affiliates, and then we may have some tiers on the best performing ones.
And those include all the marketing agencies that are signed up for you. You pay them an affiliate fee.
Yes, some of those. Yes.
Yeah. And is that 20% paid in perpetuity as long as the customer keeps paying, or is it only for the first year?
It used to be in perpetuity, but I think there's now a limit. I don't remember exactly how long that limit is. I think it's more than a year.
Talk to me about your content strategy right now. Do you run this internally, or have you hired an agency to do it for you?
We do it internally. So we have a really good team to handle that. Of course, we do use outside writers to produce content, but we coordinate all of that internally. So there are freelancers, influencers in the field who write content for us.
Okay, got it. And how do you discover new keywords you want to go after and target?
That I can't answer. I'm not that hands-on in that.
What year would you say you started investing aggressively in content marketing?
That would be 2016 when I hired the first marketing person in the company.
And how many people are on the team today full time?
The marketing team, I think maybe 15.
About total team?
The total team, yeah.
Oh, total is 5.
So the marketing team is 15, and the whole company is 130 or so.
1/3. I mean, that's almost 3 times what you told me when you came on last, which was about 18 months ago. So obviously a lot of growth there. How many of the 130 are engineers?
Good question. Let me look that up here.
What tool do you use to manage all your people? What are you looking at right now?
We have something called Hi Bob.
Hi Bob, creative name.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty new tool for this. Let me see where I can actually find that.
A range is fine too, Mikael.
It's engineering is around 40 people.
Around 40. And do you have, your price point, I believe, is fairly low. Do you have quota carrying sales reps or no?
We do. So we started building out the sales operation 2 years ago. Before that, it was fully self-serve. But we've been aggressively expanding the sales team as we have been pushing the enterprise product offering as well that I just described to you. And now we have in the sales team also around 40 people.
So there's 40. How many people actually carry a quota? About 40?
Almost, yeah.
Wow, interesting. How do you, when you make that first sales hire back 2-3 years ago, what do you set their quota at? How'd you decide?
Um, I can't actually remember. I I think I was not familiar with sales compensation at all. Let's say so. I think he could maybe drive that a bit for himself because I was not very well educated in that.
No problem. Hey, before we wrap up here, just last few questions. So obviously you raised 40 million bucks. You didn't need to, correct? You were profitable before that.
We've always.
Are you burning cash now today to invest, or are you still profitable even after the raise?
We are still profitable, but we are looking for ways to invest that cash in a sensible way, of course.
Yep. Would you look at acquiring other companies that are in the app exchanges and data studio?
Yes, we are looking at various options of acquiring companies. So data studio, connectors, competitors there. Of course, it's one area, but there are many other kind of companies that we could.
It's great to do a raise like this where you're still profitable afterwards, and there was a secondary option for all the early employees to get some liquidity, including yourself. Now, you didn't need the capital, so I assume you had most of the leverage when you were negotiating this. What valuation were you able to negotiate? A range is fine if you can't be specific.
Well, I think it would have been super interesting to see what the valuation would have been without COVID, because we were starting this from a real position of strength. We started the process, actually, we could have started the process like late last year. We had all the investors lined up, or everyone was contacting us. Our numbers were super good. But then I didn't have a CFO on board, so I decided I need to wait for the CFO to join to drive the process, that I can't handle the process without. So I waited till I think mid-February for the CFO to come on board, and then we started the process. And then of course, like COVID hit like right in the middle of the process. And then I don't think COVID has hit us that bad as many other companies and many of our competitors, but still, of course, there was a hit, and our numbers were not that stellar anymore. And that came at the worst possible time when we were in the negotiation about the valuation, and I think we didn't get quite the best deal that we would have gotten. And I thought about maybe we should just cancel it and do it again a bit later when the situation has improved. But then that would have been just so big a distraction for me from running the business. So I decided maybe just better to do it like this. It's not the optimal deal, but it's not a bad deal either. So it was a decent deal. And it's the valuation is let's say between 200 and 500 million.
And pre-COVID, what do you think the valuation could have been that you got?
I think we lost at least 50 million, if not 100 million in valuation.
Yeah. So I mean, is it fair to say you were looking at something closer to like a $500 million valuation pre-COVID, and because of COVID, you had to come a little under that?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So the investors that were staying in the process, they were like more hesitant to promise a good valuation, and then also a lot of investors just dropped out because they were having problems with other companies in their portfolio. Also, They couldn't come to meet us physically, and they said they never do deals without a physical meeting. And there was just so much uncertainty that a lot of investors actually then dropped out.
Well, Mikael, your story continues. It's a lot of fun watching you. I appreciate you making time. Let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
I think I told you this already.
You did, but I want to see if you say the same thing or not.
Well, I can say a more recent one. I think Bad Blood was awesome.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Not really.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building Supermetrics besides your own?
I think I said Google Sheets last time. It's still
sounds like that's a good answer.
Slack as well.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
8, usually.
And situation: married, single, kids?
Married with 3 kids.
3 kids, man, you're busy. And how old are you?
I'm 40.
40 years old. Last question. What do you wish you knew when you were 20?
Pardon?
What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
What I wish I knew?
when you were 20?
I guess that I'll be successful in the end. I was stressing out if I can, manage to do anything with my career.
Guys, Supermetrics.com launched in 2010. It was a one-man show through 2015, grew it to about $600,000 in sales before making his first hire in 2016. They integrated with a Google Sheets sort of exchange that drove extra growth. They broke 1.6 million in revenue. Today, folks, doing over $32 million USD in terms of run rate. Now looking at enterprise products. They just closed a $40 million round of financing. A portion of that was secondary. Valuation between 200 and 500 million. Scaling the team 130 people as they look again to continue scaling into this cohort, serving again a big chunk of marketing agencies, 15,000 customers total. Mikael, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.